how to get whatever you want. Stop working like crazy thinking that alone will bring you everything you want. That's one of the biggest lies ever told about success. There are people waking up early, staying up late, hustling all day long, and yet their lives are still stuck in the same place. Doesn't add up, does it? You know why? Because effort without direction is like rowing with a broken paddle. Here's what nobody told you. There's a key, a simple key that can change everything. And that key is asking. Now hold on, I know what you're thinking. Just ask? That sounds like some cheesy motivational talk. But it's not, because asking the right way is anything but shallow. It's mental, it's emotional, it's intentional. And if you still don't have what you want, maybe, just maybe, it's because you haven't really learned how to ask. The problem isn't that the world is lacking. The problem is you're walking up to an ocean of abundance with a spoon. And today, I'm going to show you how to show up with a bucket, or better yet, a ship. Over the next few minutes, you'll understand why so many good people feel stuck. You'll learn how to activate a silent process, one that separates dreamers from doers. And most importantly, you'll discover how to use the art of asking with clarity, faith, and strategy so you can finally receive what's already yours. What you're about to hear could change your next 90 days, or maybe your entire life. But first, take a deep breath, because what I'm about to share with you, they didn't teach this in school, not at work, not even at home. And that's exactly why so few people get what they truly want. The art of asking. He looked up, took a deep breath, and said, I deserve more out of life. But that's where it ended. He didn't ask. He didn't act. And here's the thing. You can work hard, wake up early, hit your goals. But if you don't know how to ask, you'll spend your whole life getting crumbs from a feast that was always within reach. Asking is an art. But more than that, it's a mindset. It's a quiet switch in your mind that unlocks an entire world of possibilities. Most people kill themselves executing, but they forget the foundation, asking. It sounds simple, but it's the blind spot for so many. If you don't ask, you don't activate the process. And without the process, there's no progress. Asking isn't weakness. It's awareness. It's clarity. A well-formed request comes from someone who knows exactly what they want. Do you? Not more money. But how much? Not a better job. But which position? At what company? Doing what? Earning what? Specificity is the first step to clarity. And clarity is the first step to action. And here's the thing. It's not just about saying out loud. It's about asking with confidence, with faith, with the energy of someone who believes it's already on the way. Because when you ask with conviction, you're already halfway there. Now, let me tell you a secret most people won't. Asking opens portals. Not in the sky, in your mind. When you ask with clarity and belief, your brain kicks into gear. It activates something called the reticular activating system, your internal filter. And suddenly, you start noticing everything that's connected to your goal. It's like the entire universe just got a compass with your name on it. The problem? Most people act like beggars in front of an ocean of abundance, settling for drops when they could be swimming. So trade your spoon for a bucket. Trust me, there's more than enough ocean for everyone. Want a practical tip? Grab a notebook. Write down 3 specific things you want to receive in the next 90 days. Be simple, but bold. I want to close $10,000 in sales by September. I want to lose 15 pounds with discipline and good health. I want to find a business partner who shares my values. Name it. Write it. Say it out loud. That gives shape to your desire. It magnetizes your goals. That's sharp thinking. That's faith in motion. That's the start of a new path. And if you want to go even faster, share your goals with someone you trust. Speak to someone who's rooting for you. Because people who master the art of asking don't sit around waiting for life to hand them something. They build bridges between where they are and where they're meant to be. They don't beg. They position themselves as someone ready to receive. Asking is a declaration. I'm moving forward. And the most incredible part? That movement sparks more movement. It opens doors, starts conversations, uncovers opportunities. And that brings us to the next big lesson, one that's going to shift how you see the world, and more importantly, how you move through it. 3 lessons about asking and receiving. Asking is just a first step, but it's a step with massive consequences. The moment you ask, something starts to move inside you and around you. It may sound mystical, but this is pure neuroscience and human behavior. The simple act of asking with clarity puts your brain and emotions into a state of focus. Your attention shifts, your words change, and even the people around you start noticing something different about your energy. It's like flipping a switch. You don't need to understand all the wiring behind the wall. You just need to trust that when you flip the switch, the light comes on. That's how the process works. A silent action triggered by a bold decision. But look, asking is the beginning, not the end. Receiving, that part is natural. It's automatic, like a chemical reaction. And that's what surprises most people. The problem isn't a lack of worthiness. It's the lack of asking. There are good people, honest, hardworking people, who've never stopped to actually write down a clear goal. They've never said out loud what they really want from life. And do you know what happens to people who don't ask? They become experts at waiting. Waiting for luck, for their boss, for the government, for something, anything. And meanwhile, time just passes them by. The solution? Start turning vague intentions into specific desires. If you want more out of life, start by saying exactly what more looks like. Now take a look around. There are people out there growing, thriving, achieving their dreams. And you know what they all have in common? They figured out that success isn't a slice of cake that runs out. It's an ocean full of opportunities, connections, and possibilities. And yet, some people show up to that ocean with a spoon. A spoon, the fear wanting more, of aiming high, of truly believing. That fear is what blocks them. A limited mindset keeps you from seeing how real and available abundance actually is. So ditch the spoon. Bring a bucket. Heck, bring a water truck if you want. Because here's the truth. There's enough for everyone. Want an example? A woman once told me, "Jim, I've worked for years. I'm never late. I do everything right, but my life never changes." And I asked, "Have you ever asked for a raise? Have you told your boss exactly what you want and why you deserve it?" Silence. She was a great worker, but a terrible asker. And that's more common than you think. Sometimes it's not effort that's missing. It's positioning. It's clarity, a confident request, strong faith, and a plan. Because when you mix clear intention with consistent action, things start to happen. The universe doesn't reject people who carry themselves like they already belong. And that's where the real transformation begins. Because knowing all this isn't enough. You've got to apply it. You've got to activate it. You've got to put it into motion every single day. Ask with faith. Act with clarity. Plan with purpose. Your mind will respond to what you feed it. And now, we get to the part where you learn how to sharpen your ask. Because it's not just about wanting something. It's about knowing how to ask for it. And that how makes all the difference. 2 ways to ask. Asking with intelligence is like shooting an arrow. You don't just throw it in the air and hope it lands where it should. You aim. You focus. You get specific. And that's where a lot of people trip up. Instead of saying, "I want to double my income," they say, "I want to make more money." More how? More when? More from what? A vague request leads to vague results. And let's be honest, nobody climbs a mountain if they don't even know which peak they're aiming for. Clarity is power. When you define the size, shape, even the color of your goal, the universe stops guessing and starts delivering. Your ask becomes a map. And a map keeps you from getting lost along the way. Now, let's be clear. This kind of intelligence has nothing to do with education. It's all about awareness. It's about planning. It's about knowing where you are, where you want to go, and what path you're willing to take. Have you ever seen smart people struggling because they don't know what they want? Happens all the time. But here's the beauty. You can change your course with one simple habit, writing it down in detail. Let me show you. Instead of saying, "I want a new car," say, "I want a 2022 silver Toyota Corolla with leather seats and a sunroof by the end of the year, financed in 48 installments with a $3,000 down payment." Now that's gold magnetism. But if asking with intelligence is the rational side, asking with faith is emotional fuel. And here's one of the biggest secrets of high achievers. They believe with childlike intensity. While adults overthink, second-guess, and slow down before the curve, a child simply believes. They dream big, they imagine, and the crazy part? It works. Because faith activates something logic can't touch. It sparks courage. It powers persistence. A person with faith doesn't just wait for a miracle, they become part of it. And sometimes that's the only shift you need, the one that separates dreamers from doers. But this isn't blind faith. This is grounded belief, a solid trust that what you clearly visualize can become real. And no, this isn't mystical talk. It's daily practice. Want to ask with faith? Start your morning visualizing what you want in detail. See it, feel it, say it out loud. It's like a focused prayer, a request with weight and intention. And throughout your day, align your actions with that request. Because faith without action is just fantasy. But faith with action, that's power. And people who move with power move faster, go further, and feel lighter along the way. Asking with intelligence and with faith is the perfect balance. It's the adult who plans and the child who believes. It's logic and emotion, spoon and bucket. It's seeing the ocean and not being intimidated by its size. Because when you believe boldly and ask specifically, you start moving toward the very thing that's already moving toward you. And if that sounds powerful now, just wait until you see what happens when you combine your ask with consistent action for 90 days. Plan like an adult. Believe like a child. Have you ever noticed how kids never doubt their dreams? They don't worry about how things will happen. They just believe. They want to be astronauts, inventors, singers, and they've never even seen a single spreadsheet. And you know what? That innocent boldness, that fearless belief, is exactly what most adults are missing. Because adults, we know how to plan. But somewhere along the way, we lost the faith. And what's the point of a perfect plan if you don't believe enough to act on it? The secret is balance. To operate like an engineer, but dream like a 5-year-old staring at a rocket with wide, shining eyes. Planning like an adult means having your feet on the ground. Yes, but believing like a child, that's what gives you wings. It means setting clear goals with detail, with purpose. And at the same time, giving yourself permission to believe they're actually possible. That abundance isn't just a nice idea. It's a reality, waiting for you to take action. And if you're still not convinced, take a look around. The people who prosper the most are the ones who combine structure and belief, planning and faith. They know exactly what they want. They write it down, but they also live as if it's already on the way. Want to change your life in the next 90 days? You don't need 1,000 miracle formulas. You need a clear plan, a specific goal, and unshakable belief. Get a calendar. Mark 90 days. List the habits you need to change. Write down your goals in detail. And most importantly, visualize every single day what it would feel like to live that life. Not once a week. Every single day. That's the secret of those who actually make things happen. Consistency. And when you add faith to persistence, something changes. And not just on the outside, but deep inside. The shift in attitude is quiet, but deeply transformative. You start acting differently, speaking differently, attracting different people and opportunities. And it all began the moment you chose to plan like an adult, but believe like a child. Because childlike faith doesn't fear the size of the challenge. It sees the outcome. It doesn't freeze in front of the unknown. It runs toward the vision. And at that level of faith, you don't show up with a tiny spoon anymore. You start showing up with buckets, with trucks, with ships. Because the ocean, it's out there. And it's yours, if you have the courage to ask for it. So here's the question. What if you gave this a try for 90 days? Just 90. You can always go back to your usual life after that. But what if you find out that the life you thought was normal was never the life you were truly meant for? What if you discover there was so much more waiting for you, and the only thing missing was clarity, faith, and the right ask? Maybe it's time to stop waiting. Maybe it's time to start living. Because asking is simple, receiving is automatic, but living takes courage. And that's what you're about to unlock. So let me ask you this. Why keep showing up with a spoon when you now know there's an entire ocean waiting for you? Why keep waiting for the perfect moment when that moment will never come if you don't take the first step? It's time to flip the switch. It's time to stop wishing in silence and start asking out loud, with clarity, with faith, and with a plan. You don't need to know exactly how it's all going to happen. You just need to start. Think about it. When was the last time you actually wrote down what you want out of life? How much do you want to earn? Where do you want to live? What kind of relationship do you want to build? What legacy do you want to leave behind? Because without clarity, you have no direction. Without faith, you have no strength. And without action, there's no transformation. Now that you know this, what will you do about it? Are you going to let this video be just another burst of short-term motivation? Or will you use it as a starting point? You're standing at the edge of a real opportunity to change your life in the next 90 days. And you don't need a dozen strategies. You just need one decision, one attitude, one clear ask, and the courage to follow through, even when the world says it's impossible. So, will you keep waiting? Or will you grab your bucket and dive headfirst into this ocean? Backhand index pointing down, leave a comment below. What are you going to ask for today? What decision will you make right now to get unstuck and start moving? Write it, share it, because when you write it down, you start giving shape to what was once just a thought. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join us on this journey. Here, you'll learn how to take control of your mind, shift your mindset, and attract everything that was always meant for you. Because the life you want starts the moment you learn how to ask,